Oh,
good evening, you two. I nearly caught you then.
I think you did. I think you did actually.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. What's the date today?
It's the 13th.
13th, the 13th of August. The sun's just going down over there, look.
I know it's
Got
the
a
13th.
lovely sunset over there. How do you know it's the 13th?
Because it's Faith's boyfriend's birthday.
On the 13th. David's birthday's on the 13th.
His name is not David, but yeah, let's go with that. Let's call him David.
Code name David. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for everybody for going over to my other channel on air guns and things, even if loads of people have not even into air guns, but they've gone and supported me. It's got like 60 subscribers already. It's only been open a couple of days and I've been doing a few videos and things, and I'm quite chuffed because I've been thinking of things to do on my channel, and I've been having a root in the drawers and I found this. Ta-da! What's that? I hear you say, well, this is something I've had for a long time. I used to have an eBay account years ago, and I used to look at all this stuff that comes from China and takes about 3 months to arrive on the slowest boat ever, and there was loads of these. This is a laser sight, red dot laser. So they were all in for 99p. Bid now, buy it for 20 quid or something like that. Buy it now, 20 quid, and it starts in the bids at 99p. There's pages and pages and pages of these Chinese companies all competing with each other. So I go down pages and pages and I bid 99p, free postage. Anyway, forgot all about it, and then I got a notification: you've won the auction, you've bought a laser sight for 99p, and I thought, oh, great.
Wow.
So I PayPal the 99p.
I
forgot all about it.
99p.
Forgot all about it, and well, that gun is it's an American gun, Crossman, actually made in China. It says all over it. Anyway,
it's worth every penny.
About 6 months later, it arrived, and I'm like, that wow, but I had nothing to mount it on until today. So I'm gonna set that up. I did actually mount it on the paintball gun, but it was a bit of a dodgy mount because it didn't really fit properly. Oh, now we've got a proper mount now.
You can't really use that sort of thing for paintball anyway, can you?
No, you can't
fast.
see the red dot, but once the light's gone down, like now, you can see it perfect. Look, it's there.
Are you going to show them your air gun?
I've already done it on my other channel. Just check the link, and please feel free to come and support me on the other channel, because I talk a load of rubbish on there, as well as just talk about guns. I talk all kinds of stuff.
Actually, you're very, very good when you talk about guns and air rifles and real guns, and he can strip all kinds of guns. It really is one of his absolute fortes, and we've known so many people who've come along and said, how do I work this gas gun? How do I work this gun, that gun? And Graham just sits there and he's stripped it completely. And the people are like, whoa, show me how you did that. That really is your thing, and you are an absolute crack shot.
Remember when I first met you had an Uzi?
Yes, a real one. I had a real Uzi machine gun, submachine gun, light machine gun.
It was an original Israeli military industries, dated 1966. It was 100% legal, guys, before everyone starts panicking.
Yeah, it was deactivated.
It had been deactivated, but you could cock it and take the magazine out and everything and try fire it.
Actually, there's a story behind that.
I'll let her tell the story.
The story is that I bought this when I was with a boyfriend before Graham, and then I went on the run.
Whose idea was it to buy it?
Mine.
Oh, right.
Entirely mine. I was bored.
Because you had another one as well, didn't you?
Yeah, he wanted a Lewis gun. He wanted to mount a Lewis gun.
A Vickers it was, not a Lewis gun.
No. He wanted a Lewis gun.
Oh, he wanted a Lewis gun. Right.
But they didn't have one. And all they had was the Vickers heavy machine gun. And he was potless. And it was Manchester. I'd driven all the way up there.
So you bought it for him?
Yeah, I paid for it. It's 350 quid. Again, deactivated.
They're over £1,000 now. You can't buy them.
And I put it in the boot of the car. I had no idea that my tyres were only just missing the arches, the weight of it. And I actually had it mounted on a tripod pointing at the letterbox. And when Steve Skerritt came to arrest me, they looked through the letterbox and he went, oh my God, there's because a machine gun pointing at us.
Time for a sharp exit.
It was deactivated, and the police were very impressed with it. They were very, very interested in it. Not to arrest
Super
me.
cool ornament. I mean, I was totally jealous of it.
Because it was completely legal. And they deactivated weapons go to a place in Birmingham and they stamp like cross rifles. Well,
yeah, they have proof marks. All guns have proof marks stamped on them by the proofing house. And when they're deactivated, they're inspected by the inspectors, and they're stamped again as deactivated, so they carry the marks. Unless they've got the documentation and the proof marks, then...
Well, I mean, there was no way he was ever... This ex-boyfriend of mine was ever going to be able to mount it on the top wing of his ancient biplane. I mean, it would have ripped all the linen. It would have destroyed... Well, I don't think that the plane would have taken off.
They used to make plastic ones because they were water-cooled. The big jacket on them were water-cooled. I mean, 303 Vickers, World War One. I mean, these guns would fire night and day. I mean, they said 600 rounds a minute. It would fire 600 rounds a minute for 24 hours of the day. Whereas today, the modern guns the army have got, they'll say, oh, it'll fire 600 rounds a minute. Well, it won't.
What range would they have been?
Vickers 303, up to 1,000 yards, I would imagine.
A kilometre.
It would be effective.
Pretty much a kilometre.
I've never fired one. That's just a guess off the top of my head. But the weapons they have today might fire 650 rounds a minute, but after 150 rounds, the barrel's overheated. You've got to take it out and put your spare barrel in. Cool. Then you've only got another 150. So there's only 300 rounds you can fire. Then you've got to put your old barrel back in, which is still hot. And you can't touch it. So the weapons they've got today might be lighter and more portable, but they're not as good as the old Vickers.
Isn't it the Vickers that can cut a tree in half?
Yeah, that's how Maxim sold it. That was one of his selling features. He showed the British Army they could cut a tree down with.
I'm going to have
and they were not really interested in tree surgery. Have a feel, smoke it.
Oh, anyway, the boyfriend bought the Vickers. And while he was messing about, we were in there for hours. You know how men can be, boys and toys. And I picked up an Uzi and I thought, oh, I quite like that. And I got it for 99 quid.
Bargain back in the day. What year was this? It must have been late 90s. 98, 99?
98, 99, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, brought them back down to Brighton and I quite like the Uzi. I wanted one because of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know.
Uzi 9mm.
I'll be back. But that's a totally different sort of Uzi, which you can explain.
No, it was exactly the same.
No, he didn't have the wooden butt.
No, they came with a metal folding stock as well.
That's right.
I think Arnie had this, but you can take the stock off.
Yeah, I don't think he had a stock. He used it as a handgun, didn't he? But mine had a wooden stock. And I remember you being very impressed, because I was friends with Graham, although we weren't together. Came round to the flat. He was very impressed with the Vickers, but he was more impressed with the Uzi and the wooden stock. And he said there could be blood, sweat and tears of an Israeli soldier that was in was it the 6-day war or the 9-day
Yom Kippur War? Yeah, I mean, it was the right era to be used.
Because I was going to clean it, and he went, "Oh my God, don't do that."
No, leave it all original. Yeah. You should never restore guns. I mean, I cry when obviously if they're too far gone, you've got to restore them. But generally speaking, no, don't restore them.
Well, anyway, when we went on the run, I couldn't take all that nonsense with me. I sold the Vickers to a friend who's still got it.
He has.
I think he's got more than one heavy machine gun, deactivated, of course. But the Uzi I left in Graham's house in Liverpool. I just couldn't take it on the run with me. It wasn't appropriate. And you had some fairly poisonous relatives who phoned the police and said, "Oh, she's on the run and he's Graham the Baron." And the police cordoned off the whole street apparently, and
took it.
They took it.
You robbed it.
They didn't rob it. They evacuated the whole street, and they were like, "Oh my God, he's a drug dealer and there's machine guns and there's fraud and aeroplane." I mean, talk about crybabies and getting their fucking knickers in a twist.
They love it.
Anyway, so the police took it,
wanging
and then
everybody up.
I phoned your brother up, your kid, and I said, "Do us a favour, go and get my gun." And he went, "Like fuck, am I going anywhere near with a a class 5 weapon?" I said, "Don't worry, it's deactivated."
Section 5 prohibited firearm.
I said, "It's a deac."
If it was working,
I paid 99 quid for it.
100% legal. You can buy it over the counter so long as you're over 18.
Finally, your kid went to
He got it back.
the
Long
police.
story short, yeah.
Police said we had to send it to Birmingham to double check. They wouldn't just phone Birmingham. They had to actually send it
Because
there.
there's no experts in Merseyside police who could say, "Oh no, that's deactivated."
I don't
They're not
think.
clever enough.
I don't think it's
It's
that.
out of my hands. It's above making sure.
It's not like that. It's because I think because the stamps vary every year. So they get the stamp of the year it was deactivated to see if it
Had a
fits.
serial number. It would have been registered. There would have been a database.
Doesn't matter. It's really serious. It's a machine
anyway.
gun. Anyway, they sent it to Birmingham, came back to Rochdale, and they phoned his brother up and said, "You can come and pick up the Uzi." And he had a mate who had a.
He said, "What do you want us to do with it?" And we said, "Just sell it," didn't we?
No, I didn't. I
Didn't
said,
you?
"No." I said, "I'll come and get it." And he went, "Well, you're never coming back to the UK," because at that point, I thought I never was. I said, "Well, I might do one day. You can't just throw it away. I paid 99 quid for that." So he gave it to a guy who had a shop full of Diacs, a different shop.
Oh, it was a proper gun shop.
Oh, was he? Don't say his name. Don't say his name.
Well, he's dead now, so he won't mind.
But his children might have taken the shop.
That's true. There's
Anyway,
only one gun shop in Rochdale.
you had to say that, didn't you? The trolls will be all over this one. Anyway,
He's dead and the shop's closed years ago, so don't bother.
the guy gave it to a movie company. He hired it out.
Who
God
were
knows
paying
what
him
cost.
money to rent it. He's been in loads of films, this gun.
Yeah,
Because you can cock it because the law changed and you can't cock them anymore. They go, "Oh, we've got to be welded shut." But this one was a click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Graham, of course, stripped it. First thing he did, as soon as I gave it to him, I put it on my grand's lap. You know, my poor gran. She was about 89 years old. She couldn't see and she couldn't hear. I put it on her lap and she went, "What's this, Fiona?" And she felt it and she went, "Oh my good godfather, that's a machine gun." You know, she felt it all. She was right, game old bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, his brother said, "I can't," that the fella's lent it to a movie company and he can't get it back. So when we finally came back to Brighton, I phoned him up and I said, "I want my gun back." And he said, "Oh, I'll give it to a movie company." I said, "I don't care, you better get it back." And he did, he got it back. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He paid me.
He paid you?
That's right. He sent me a cheque and the cheque bounced. And I said to him, I phoned him up and I said, "Don't make me come up north because I'll be really angry after a long drive like that." And he said, "I promise you, Fiona, present the cheque again and it'll clear." And it did.
How much did you get for it in the end?
£450, I think. And it was very welcome.
The
because
thing
we had-
is, though, you couldn't buy that gun now. I mean, we looked in the lanes, didn't we, in Brighton?
yeah, ludicrous money.
And there was an AK-47, a similar sort of... no, it was prior to the 60s. It was the 50s, 1950s. Woodstock, all welded shut. You couldn't even cock it, nothing. You couldn't get the magazine
That's
out.
why the movie companies wanted
And
it.
yeah, the guy wanted 350 for that. And
Yeah.
all it was good for is like going, "Wow, that's a real AK-47." And hanging it on the wall. I mean, you couldn't do anything else with it. You couldn't even strip it.
Yeah.
You know, at least with the BB gun, you can strip them down and put them back together and shoot them and shoot tin cans with them, you know.
Yeah.
But they're not real. They're not the actual real thing, are they, from the day? And they're so strict on firearms licences in the UK. A lady
And
today
rightly
from Texas
so.
asked me about guns and gun laws in the UK, and you could never have a carry permit for a gun in the UK anyway.
Oh, no.
You could join a club and have a firearms certificate, which meant you could take the gun from your house, from the safe, down to the range, shoot it on the range, put it back in the boot of the car, take it back home. But you could never take it out carrying it. And there's so many rules and regulations. And then one day some lunatic went around shooting people, which is unheard of in the UK. It just doesn't happen.
There's been a couple.
And whenever it does happen, they scream.
Of course.
Blue murder. Well, quite rightly, I'm not saying it's a good thing ever, but they make such a fuss. They make a bigger fuss than they need to. Drama queens, and they just banned them. All guns. I had an AK-47 on
A real one.
a real one from Hungary, brand new, in the box, £250. It even came with a bayonet. First thing I did was I sold the bayonet to my mate at the surplus stores, and used to go to different ranges shooting it. And I thought, wow, this is great, because it was single. That was the only stipulation for a Section 1 firearms licence. It had to be single shot, and they allowed that. And you could buy an Uzi as long as it was single shot. You could have anything so long as the function for fully automatic was disabled and it was just fired single shot, you could have them until Michael Ryan went round Hungerford killing people willy-nilly, and then they just banned them. You had to hand them in and they were destroyed, and they'd pay you 150 quid for it, something like that.
Wasn't it?
And you had to wait years to get your money. So all the revolvers went. I used to have a Ruger Security 6. I had a 1911 in 9mm, a Star, Spanish Star. That was a really good gun. And I used to do loads of competitions with them, and I just had to hand them all in. And
you had a Spanish Star when we were in Portugal, I seem to remember. And we sold the caravan to Manuel, and you said there's 2 guns in that caravan. He went, what guns? And you were like, oh, come on. Do you remember? I think it was a Spanish Star, and you had a revolver.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they were probably plastic, weren't they?
No, you're confusing it with something else.
Am I?
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know anything about guns. Oh yeah, if you've got any teenagers or young people out there who have insurance that's very expensive and they have the black box thing going on, tell them not to jump on an aeroplane or two, because our Faith, she was doing really well on her black box, and now she does very well because the bus drivers get her a good score. She can't figure out how to turn it off.
Yeah, it's monitoring your driving all the time, and you're allowed to do 5,000 miles a year, and you get your insurance reduction. Anyway, she did 500 miles last week, and she was seen doing 500 knots over the sea
from the Balearic Islands.
I thought, can't you ring him up and tell him you're an airline hostess?
She phoned me up and said,
how'd you turn it off?
Oh my God, I've got a terrible score on my black box. They said I've exceeded my annual mileage.
In a week?
I was speeding because I was doing, I don't know, whatever it was, 500 kilometres an hour across the sea and the land at 32,000 feet. She said, the damn thing, I can't turn it off. It's got no... So I've said to her, you've got to phone the insurance company and explain. She's done about, I don't know, 25,000 miles in a week. 550 kilometres
I said you
an
need
hour.
to talk to the insurance company and ask them how you turn it off, and just put it on for when you're driving. But maybe they can't turn it off so you don't cheat. Otherwise you think, you know, I've been doing too many miles.
And I know a lot of people are going to say,
I've not been driving, honest.
Surely to goodness the insurance company will realise the height and that her car cannot fly.
There's no way a streetcar can do 500 miles an hour over the sea.
Go as the crow flies and land at Gatwick Airport. But, I mean, in this day and age with people, you just don't know. I could well, after the year I've had, I could well believe someone in an office going, that's shocking, you were speeding. There's nowhere in the UK you're allowed to do 550 kilometres an hour at 32,000 feet in the sky. You know, oh.
So what else did you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, my living room here on the boat. Big plans for that. We've got 5 clear days off now, haven't we, left? And Graham's just really enjoying doing all your research on other people who do reviews on air guns and stuff. So he's quite happy.
Yeah,
and he's making his own flaxseed oil and stuff.
Yeah, still taking it.
And me, I have it as well.
I've just had some now.
So...
It's disgusting though. You've got to be careful because I just want to gag all the time. I've got to put loads of cottage cheese in with it so I can't taste the flaxseed oil.
Maybe I'll get you a load of Big Macs and smear it in between.
Don't.
Anyway, I'm going to fix up the saloon downstairs. Tomorrow I'm going to go and get floor paint from the Chinese shop, and I'm going to take the carpets up. And I'll go into my mate in Gibraltar and get some marble mist. That's the plan. And I've ordered new blinds. They're not real wood, they're fake. They're aluminium bloody things. And I'm going to talk to a Perspex person. So there are going to be some big changes. I'm so glad we did the bathroom, your ensuite, earlier in the year. Thank God. Thank God, because we really didn't know any of this was going to hit us. And I was just saying to everyone on YouTube, this is going to be my year with the boat. I'm going to fix this darn back. Oh, and I've ordered a very, very cheap loft ladder, a retractable ladder to get up on the roof so I can fix the roof. I'm very excited. So I'm doing it all on a shoestring, all of it. I'll get the paint from the Chinos, that'll be €20. The paint from Gibraltar, that'll be 20 quid. And I've got my cheap ladder. So I'm happy as a pig in shit, as they say.
Very good. Oh, and that was one other thing you just reminded me. The lady in Texas who was asking me about gun laws. We live in Spain, so the gun laws
Yeah.
are different here. But in Gibraltar, which is literally just over there,
Oh,
you cannot have
a BB gun, not even a kiddie's
a
one.
BB
no.
gun, a catapult, an air rifle.
No.
You can't have anything. They're all, even a paintball gun, you need a firearms license to have a deactivated gun.
There's
you know,
been an archery club trying to get somewhere for years.
Someone
and
tried to open a paintball, and it was just like, so just there's nothing. You can't.
They were even.
And this is what happens. What I'm saying to the American people is that because they've all got guns. In the UK, they're coming round to people's houses who've got a firearms license. A load of police come round to the house, bang the door, and they go round the back and everything. But we've come to, your firearms license has been revoked. We understand you're on medication for mental health or something like this, and that was it. Well, they come in, take all your guns. And this American lady said, "Oh, well, in America we say, if you want my gun, you can prise it out of my cold dead fingers." Well, English
Yeah.
people won't do that. 9 times out of 10, well, even more than that, they'll just cry like babies and hand all the guns over to be melted down or whatever.
I do
So,
understand the fear and the worry,
mean-
though.
I mean,
do.
I look at Legacy Collectibles every day, and he's pulling all these Lugers and things, highly collectible. I mean, some of them like hundreds, thousands of dollars. Some of them stupid money. I mean, most of them are like 6-7 grand. You know, could you imagine having one of them that you're never even going to fire because you're a collector and you got it in your safe, and the cops come bang on the door, we're revoking your firearms license, give us all your guns. You can see people getting upset. So what I'm saying to American people, I believe in the Second Amendment, and don't give in. Don't give an inch. Nothing, not an inch.
Well, it's their
In
constitution.
the UK, you're not even allowed to have ammunition. You're limited to how much ammunition you can have, in case you run amok one day.
But Graham, there
I mean,
are people out there who
There are
will
occasional
run amok.
loons, and
So
there-
you can't
you
criticise
will
the
get
police.
loons. Well, they've got a balancing act to do, haven't they? Because they've got to keep everyone safe, but at the
If
same time,
someone's gone crazy,
they can be
and they,
heavy-handed. And I mean, it's
I
best
think
in Texas. You know, you can carry a gun on show in Texas, and if everybody carried a gun, you wouldn't get picked on. That's my theory. Because everyone would be glaring at each other like in a western, wouldn't they?
But the problem
I mean?
is that you're judging the whole thing as if it's everybody's like you. Everybody's reasonable. Everybody's responsible.
Most people are.
But-
Most people are.
No, a lot of people are not. A
Some-
lot
and it only
of
takes
people are
the
not.
odd one, doesn't it?
And what if there's more than the odd one? You're not really thinking this through. There are
Well,
school shootouts in America.
there's lots of shootouts
There
in-
are
and I
people
know,
who have
I know.
serious mental health
But
problems.
if everyone carries a gun and someone starts shooting someone, then guns are going to come out and that person's going to get taken out, aren't they? I mean, this is a subject you can talk about for hours, isn't it? You really can. And there's people that can.
Well, just
argue
to
the
emphasise,
case
what
both
Graham's
ways.
doing is not real bullets.
Oh no,
It's
air
no
guns.
more harmful than a dartboard. You know, it's a projectile thing, or like bows and arrows. And those precision sports are very, very popular, and I support that. As long as animals and people,
Yeah.
and, you know, and it's also. And what we'll have to do is go out into the desert, you and me. We could go camping with your air rifle, because I think it's got a very, very long range, because you've got a good range out your handgun. And we could stay in the night, so your laser light works. But we will have to make sure no animals or anything.
I don't know
are
what the
around.
range is of an air rifle. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm thinking 50 yards. I've seen people on the internet 100 yards.
I reckon
But
it's
I think if it
pretty
can
good,
hit
that.
something at 100 yards, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. What we could do is get little bits of something
Beer cans.
that floats, and put a stick in it with a paper target, and go to one of the lakes. And or I could get a remote controlled toy,
See if I
and
can hit it.
you could. I'll whiz it round. You see if you can hit it.
Be pissed off once you hit it. It'll sink.
No, I won't. I'll take a few of them. I'll get a few what they call fat pigs, or the stupid submarine things. Yellow pig.
But I mean, you go on eBay or something in England. Right? I've been on eBay, America, eBay.com. Loads of guns on there, all kinds of air guns, second-hand guns, this gun, that gun, the other gun. Go to Europe, UK, co.uk, air gun, nothing.
You should have
Oh, it's
gone-
against our community guidelines. You can't deal in guns. They're dangerous. People die.
You should have asked our Ben to look on Wallapop. Bet you'd have got the same gun. I can't believe it. What was it? Fucking 250
You only got to
euros
go
for a
on Amazon and
fucking
type
toy.
in air gun, and there's hundreds of them come up. Hundreds.
250 euros for a toy.
New ones. There's no. Where do you buy second-hand ones?
Wallapop. I don't know
Wallapop,
why I
yeah.
didn't think of suggesting that before. You probably.
I'll
could
have a
put
look.
something
I'll have a
better.
look on Wallapop.
No,
It's been no.
no more. No more toys. Too expensive.
Good night, and may your God go with you.